What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Off the Gridiron, your Apollo HOU Houston Texans podcast. My name is Noah Outlaw, and I am one of your hosts as always. And today, we are talking about something that has risen from the dead, something that was forgotten, something that was left behind. And that thing is the 2025 Houston Texans season. The season started 0-3. Not looking good. Losing to the Rams week 1. We were like, don't worry, it's a good team. The Rams are going to be good this year. We lose to the Bucs. And we were like, don't worry about it. They're a good team. And then we lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that is the first game where I truly think as a fan base we went, oh shit, this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good at all for the 2025 season. Going into this season, we had all these hopes. You know, we thought Nick Caley was going to come in and change a lot of things on the offense, make everything click, do what we thought Bobby Slowick was not capable of. And after that 0-3 start, everything just looked pretty rough. And then something changed. Something happened. And now we're in week 13. Week 13's ending. And the Texans are sitting at 7-5. Texans have gone 7-2 since that 0-3 start, and the Texans are right back into the thick of the AFC South race and the AFC playoff race in general. The wild card is up for grabs, and the division is up for grabs. And after the way the Colts started this season, that kind of seemed blasphemous to think that we had any chance. The Texans had any chance to be back in the hunt for the division. And now here we are facing the Colts yesterday. We get a huge win in Indy at Lucas Oil, where C.J. Stroud in his young career has had a lot of success. All he does is win. All he does is beat the Colts. He's 3-1, and the only loss that he has against the Colts in his career was week 2 of his rookie season. And that was a game where, we lost the game, but we kind of saw, we said C.J. Stroud has something. I think C.J. threw for like 384 in that game or something crazy. And so yesterday, the Texans went into Lucas Oil Stadium and beat the 8-3 Colts and absolutely put the AFC South on notice and the rest of the NFL on notice. It was it was a must-win game for our playoff chances. I think it was, if we lost, our playoff chances were like 24%, and then if we won, it was like 73. And so we went in having to get the win. And I say we. I know a lot of people hate that, and I know I probably shouldn't. I should say the Texans, but I mean, if you're from Houston and you're a Houstonian and you've been following the team for as long as I have, it's hard to not say we. It feels like a community. Obviously, I'm not out there on the field, but just a diehard fan, and I am absolutely blown away by what this team has accomplished. We'll get into the good, we'll get into the bad, but overall, before I get into any of the bad or and the good, we just have to acknowledge what an incredible turnaround this has been from DeMeco Ryans and the entire team, the offensive line, the offense as a whole, which still has a lot of issues, and mainly the defense. I mean, this is no secret. Really, the entire league got put on notice in that Bills game last Thursday about how good this defense is. And yeah, I mean, it lived up. The Colts, especially at the beginning of the season, are getting compared to some of the best offenses of all time. Like all time. Their numbers were like, people were saying they're up there with the best offense of all time. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor is, in the running for Offensive Player of the Year. Daniel Jones looked like he found some life. He took some elixir that just made him good at football again. I guess really, if you leave the state of New York, you just become really good at football. Look at Sam Darnold in Seattle and Daniel Jones to start this season with Indy. And obviously, going into this game, it's the high-powered Colts offense versus the high-powered Texans defense. Who is going to come out on top? And guys, the Texans defense and the Texans came out on top 20-16. The Texans now sit at 7-5. The Colts now sit at 8-4. And guys, this was CJ's game first back from his concussion. Davis Mills obviously getting 3 huge wins while CJ was out. The comeback against the Jaguars is one of the most memorable Texans games that we've ever seen. The second biggest comeback in franchise history, led by Davis Mills, and then obviously gets the win against the Titans, and then comes out and then gets a win against the Bills. Davis Mills held it down. C.J. Stroud comes back. C.J. throws for 276 yards, and he looked good. He looked good, despite what Nick Caley is given C.J. He looked really good, and I'm happy to see, because whenever, obviously, the offense didn't look great before CJ went out. It seemed like it was starting to click. The San Fran game was good. The first quarter that CJ played against Denver before he left with the concussion, it looked like things were clicking, and CJ picked up right where he left off, making the right throws, putting them where they need to be, just finding the soft spots in the defense, and that's over the middle of the field is where CJ cooks the most, and that's just what we saw from the jump. And it's not, it was Nico, which CJ and Nico weren't linking up too well at the beginning of the season before he went out with the concussion, and then Davis Mills kind of found Nico. It was basically the fucking Nico's down there somewhere type of thing. And I'm happy to see that CJ is kind of picking up where Davis left off with getting Nico the rock. Nico had 98 yards, 5 receptions. Dalton Schultz had 7 receptions for 55 yards. Jaden Higgins, the rook, the second-round pick out of Iowa State, was 5 for 65. So spreading the ball around very well. Xavier Hutchinson got involved. CJ picked up where Davis left off, and it was really, really nice to see. He had that one interception that was just not great. It was just an overthrown ball, but it didn't mess with his head, it seemed like, because that's one thing about CJ is he will absolutely get super flustered. If things are going bad, especially if he's getting sacked, which I can't blame the guy. If you're getting sacked 6 times a game, I don't blame him for being worried and, not really being able to stand in the pocket because he doesn't trust the 5 guys in front of him. But now, the offense has figured it out. Trent Brown has become a staple at right tackle, and the offensive line is overall doing their job. The run game is going. We're rushing for over 100 yards pretty consistently in the last few games, and Woody Marks has been an absolute godsend. What a fantastic pick by Caserio and company. Nick Chubb's getting the work, and the offensive line as a whole is opening holes in the run game, and more importantly almost is protecting CJ Stroud, protecting the franchise quarterback, so he has time to sit back there and do what we know he can do. And that was on full display today. There were still some moments, and they're not CJ's fault. It's Nick Caley's fault. Nick Caley has a lot to learn. He's a first-year play caller, and it's hard to complain when we've gone 7-2, but it's not because of him. And that's a huge bummer, because I think as a fan base we were all pretty excited for Nick Caley. We thought the hype was there coming from LA, where their passing game with Stafford has been great the past few years, and obviously back to the Super Bowl. And he just seemed like he had it, and we were all over Bobby Slowick. But the offense, Nick Caley has been worse than Bobby Slowick so far this year, and I don't even think it's particularly close. And I mean, the main issue is with Nick Caley is it's just the way I guess it's feel for the situation, right? You can look at the last drive, the 2-minute drive before halftime this game. J.J. Watt was on the call also, really questioning the decisions by Caley and D'Amico. D'Amico has power over this too. So I won't say, I'm not going to put all the blame on Caley. I'm going to put most of it on Nick Caley. But, you run 1 or 2 plays, good plays, and then you take about a minute off the clock. You only got 2 minutes, and then you're at midfield with a minute left, and then now you don't know what to do. And then now the run's not going to work, and then you just get down to a point where it's like, okay, well, so we've used all this clock. We didn't manage it correctly. So now it's a 65-yard field goal for Kaimi, which his career long 61. I wouldn't mind sending Kaimi out there to try a 65-yarder before halftime. The clock's going to expire. You're not giving them the ball back in midfield. Let Kaimi give it a go. He's a damn good kicker. Oh, but we decide to, instead of executing and going up tempo and trying to pull off a successful 2-minute drive, one that we've seen Davis Mills pull off in recent weeks. or against the Bills. No, you just go for the Hail Mary right before half. And, D'Amico gets asked right before halftime. He's like, what was the idea going into that drive? Because everyone was pretty bewildered about it. And he goes, well, we get the ball back in the second half. And I don't give a good goddamn if you get the ball back in the second half. I don't care. Go get the points now. Steal some points. This offense, we're going to take every point we get. I think Kayembe can hit a 65-yarder. I really do. I think he could have done it. I think he could have got close. I would have rather gone for that 3 points than a Hail Mary to, a 50-yard, 60-yard Hail Mary. Like, I don't understand that. And this just goes back to the Nick Caley stuff that I have obvious issues with. And I'm hoping that he'll start to pick it up and learn. But we're pretty late in the season. So you'd think he'd have that by now. But he is a first-year play caller, so I'm going to cut him a little bit of slack, but I need to see more out of that. But I'm very happy. Other than a few weird moments, I don't like the two tush pushes in a row with Cade Stover. They figured it out. They figured out how to stop it. The Colts obviously knew what we were doing. Because we did it 1 or 2 times successfully with Cade Stover, and I loved that. I thought that was cool. I really credited Nick Caley when I was watching. I went, that's inventive, and that's just something cool to see. But the Colts caught on pretty quick. So then, whenever we're going into, we have a 3rd and 1 and then a 4th and 1, and you run it 2 times in a row. I don't mind maybe on the 3rd and 1 giving it a go, but after that is unsuccessful for no gain at all, let's try something else. Let's not do the same thing. They know what to do. We're not the Eagles, okay? The Texans are not the Eagles. Cade Stover is not Jalen Hurts. That offensive line is not the Eagles' offensive line. Now, on that 3rd and 1, I don't mind running that tush push, but when it doesn't work, go to something else. Give the ball to Woody Marks. Give the ball to Nick Chubb. Do a play action with CJ. Let him hook around, hit Dalton Schultz. Hit Jaden Higgins. There are so many more options than running the same damn play 2 times in a row. And that's something Nick Caley has done multiple times this season. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's time to learn from those mistakes, Nick. I know you're a first-year OC, but it's time to learn from those mistakes. But overall, I did enjoy what I saw from the offense. I did. I enjoyed what I saw from the offense, other than the 1 interception and those few weird Nick Caley moments that I just mentioned. I enjoyed what I saw from the offense. I love our run game. I'm a huge Woody Marks guy. And overall, just enjoyed. I still want to see more Jalen Knoll. He was not involved at all. I don't even think he had a single target. He might have got 1 target. But he's kind of nowhere to be found, and he's okay in the special teams game and returning kicks and punts and whatnot. I like that, but let's get him more involved. He's dynamic. We've seen CJ link up with him for a couple explosive plays earlier this season. Let's get that going more, because that's just another weapon that we're really not utilizing. So I'd like to see more from Jalen Knoll. I would. Let's talk about the defense. Good God, guys! Look, we talk about this Indianapolis powerhouse offense. Man, Jonathan Taylor, Offensive Player of the Year. He didn't get into the end zone once. He didn't get in. He hit 85 yards. He had a couple good carries, 21 carries for 85 yards. I'm looking at it right here. Yeah, no, he gashed us a few times. But overall, he had a bad day at the office. Jonathan Taylor's a guy who has, against most teams in the NFL, he doesn't struggle too much to get into the end zone. But we made it a really, really, really hard day for him. Alec Pierce had a big day for the Colts. Shout out Alec Pierce. I'm impressed. He's been a guy who I've kind of always thought was a little underrated. Doesn't get talked about enough. He's had some moments against us in years past that I'm like, this fucking guy is kind of good. And he showed up today, 4 receptions, 78 yards, and he also had that back corner of the end zone touchdown. That was a beauty. That came right after C.J. Stroud's interception, which is kind of Nick Caley needs to learn a little something from Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen. He needs to learn a little something because Shane was ready. CJ goes out there. We get that big stop on 4th and 1. We have all the momentum. CJ goes out and throws that interception. They get the ball right back, momentum back to them, and they go down in what, 2 plays? Because Shane was ready for the situation. Shane was ready for that. Nick Caley, whenever there's been times this season where we suddenly get the ball back off a turnover, which this defense does a lot. I think it was a situation last week in the Bills game. I think after the Kalen Bullock pick 6 but got called back because of Sheldon Rankins, Nick wasn't ready. Nick was like, oh shit, I got to call plays again. What do we? Shane's ready. Nick, you got to be prepared. I don't mean to rant about Nick Caley so much, but whatever you think about this team and what they're capable of, the common problem is Nick Caley. But this defense, overall, incredible job. Incredible job. Let me see here. Let me look here. We had Sheldon Rankins had the sack. We only got 1 sack on him, on Daniel Jones today, which, maybe they went easy on him. Maybe they heard about his fibula. They didn't want to put too much pressure on him. But the pressure was there. The pressure was there. Will Anderson. Good Lord. I mean, every single week it seems like we're talking about Will Anderson, what he's doing again, or what he did this week, and how. I mean, if a guy named Myles Garrett didn't exist and wasn't on pace for 30 fucking sacks, Will Anderson would be the defensive player of the year favorite. What he did oh my God, so many times in this game, but the one play where he was lined up on the center and just took the center's lunch money. Just one hand pushing him back, bull rushes him into Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones tries to, obviously really quick on his feet, on his fibula, gets the ball out, tries to dump it off to, I think, Josh Downs or somebody in the flats. But it just absolutely took the center, this big, just 6'5", 490-pound center. Obviously, 490 is a little much. He's obviously not 490. That would be pretty ridiculous. But this huge, he's nothing. Like he's a sack of potatoes. He's just picking it up. It's ridiculous. Will Anderson is on a fucking another level right now. And Derek Stingley, another guy, another star of the Texans. The NFL top 20 player according to the top 100 list last year. I think he got 18. Did he allow a single catch? I don't think he allowed a single catch. And if he did, it was definitely under 10 yards. It was definitely under 10. I don't even know if he allowed a single catch. Lockdown as lockdown can be. He's another guy who, I know last year, Pat, old boy from the Broncos, Pat, he won Defensive Player of the Year. Derek Stingley should be in that conversation too, if it wasn't for Myles Garrett. If it was not for Myles Garrett, Derek Stingley should. Kamari Lassiter should be damn near all-pro. Everyone on this defense is incredible. Azeez Al-Shaair is all around and such a leader. That's why he goes down. That was very worrying to see because Azeez went down and it looked way worse than it was. I thought it was his arm. At first, and then he was getting evaluated for a concussion, and then he was fine. He got cleared pretty quickly. But just watching this defense is so much fun. It's so fun to watch. And that opening drive, it was a really said a lot about what this day was going to look like. Because Shane Steichen decides, hey, I'm going to give my offense the ball first. He wanted to go out and send a message. Nothing. Second down, Daniel Jones. They try to key up a play to Tyler Warren. Their rookie tight end who has been incredible. Just nothing there. He had to dirt the ball in the second play of the game. He's like, we're done. And then nothing. 3 and out. Easy. Get the ball back to the Texans offense. Go cook. Easy. It just was a really, really hard day for the Colts, and it's a hard day for any offense when they have to play this historic Texans defense. And I just can't get over how incredibly lucky we are to watch this team. Jalen Petrie comes back, made a huge difference. He's just when he's blitzing, he's in coverage. He's a little iffy in coverage. I think Daniel Jones was trying to attack Jalen Petrie a few times, but overall didn't have much success doing it. And, really the only big moments, come from the Colts receivers just making insane plays. Josh Downs and Alec Pierce. Josh Downs had that incredible, I think it was like 3rd and 9, just had that toe drag swag right on the line, right out barely got his 2 feet in. It's annoying, but overall, bad day at the office for the Colts offense. They hadn't scored less than 20 points in a game all year, and we held them to 16. That is what this Texans defense does. Guys, I don't want to say, excuse me, I don't want to say that this Texans team is a contender quite yet. But damn, we're close. We're really close. This Texans defense is obviously Super Bowl caliber. And the offensive performance I saw yesterday is almost just enough of what you need to complement that Texans defense to be able to win. You can win any game. You can beat any team. If the offense just plays a little bit better, and I think they can. I think they can clean up a lot of the penalties. Obviously, the illegal formation thing was a big issue early in the game. Guys, not covered, and then JJ said that we overcorrected, and then covered him too much or something, like whatever it was. The illegal formation stuff has to get figured out. The holding, holds are going to happen, false starts are going to happen, but so I obviously don't want to see them. But when it comes to the illegal formation stuff, and even stuff like illegal man downfield, which is something we've had trouble with at points this season, if you can just clean those things up and try not to fucking hold, try not to false start, stop shooting yourselves in the foot just a little bit. It's going to happen every now and then. But yesterday, I think we had over damn near 100 yards of penalties. That if you can clean that up, and then just clean that up, stop shooting yourselves in the foot. This offense can be more than enough to complement this defense. And then if that's the case, you are a contender. And we'll look to next week a little bit, because we have a huge game against an AFC opponent, the Kansas City Chiefs, in Arrowhead. If this Texans team goes into Arrowhead and beats the Kansas City Chiefs, a desperate Kansas City Chiefs, who they damn near have to win out. They damn near have to win out to do what they want to do and to be the team that they've been in years past. They're desperate, and if we can go in, the Texans can go in to Arrowhead and pull out a win against the Chiefs, I will say this team is a Super Bowl contender. This team is a Super Bowl contender. This team can go win the AFC South, which would be hilarious, by the way. If the Texans win the AFC South this season, after the start the Colts had, and after what the Jaguars have done, and all their fan bases, both of their fan bases have been talking all kinds of shit all year, calling the Texans little bro, it would be hysterical if the Texans went, don't worry, y'all have fun for a little bit, but we're back. We'll be back. And this season, after starting 0-3, after the struggles with the offense, after what Nick Caley has failed to do for our team at times, if we go and win the AFC South, it's the funniest, it's the biggest practical joke on the Colts and Jaguars that you can pull off. It's hilarious. It'd be so funny, and I'm really, really hoping for it. So go into Arrowhead next week and pull off a win. I will say that this team's not only going to make the playoffs, but can make a deep run and possibly go to the Super Bowl, which is crazy to say. Now, I'm not saying that yet. We have to go win another big game. But if you go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs, and you look at the past 3 games, you say we beat the Bills, we beat the Colts, and we beat the Chiefs. Who can you not beat in this league? Who can you not beat? Seattle would give us a run, but we wouldn't have to see them until the last game of the season if the Super Bowl is truly in the cards. And I know Seattle gave us a really, really hard time a few weeks ago. But this is also a different team. This is a different team than what I saw against Seattle. So, I'm not saying Super Bowl yet. Next Monday, maybe. But, guys, before I get out of here, I wanted to thank you for watching. Before I get out of here, I want to tell you about our friends over at Underdog. Guys, football season is in full swing. And Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Whether you're into basketball, football, hockey, or any sport in between, Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action all season long. Playing on Underdog is super easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and so much more. Get your picks right, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash just for getting some picks right on what you watch every Sunday anyway. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at the NFL slate and taking higher on Nico Collins receiving yards and higher on Woody Marks rushing yards, guys, because those two guys going into Arrowhead, the entire offense needs to be locked in, but those are the guys that we need to show out. Those are the two guys that, other than CJ Stroud, really, really need to be at their best if we want to get a win in Arrowhead. So I'm taking higher Nico Collins receiving yards and higher Woody Marks receiving yards. It's honestly one of the most fun and simple ways to follow the games too, because, you know, if you're watching a random game that you don't have a dog in the race, then you have your underdog, you know, you have your underdog picks, and then you're locked in. It's so much fun. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code OTG to score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code OTG off the Gridiron OTG. Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Offered not valid in Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Are you concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-639. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thanks so much for talking about Texans with me, because I got to get it out. I love it. It's all I think about. I think about my lovely girlfriend. I think about my lovely cats. I had 2 cats. I got a new one. Just letting y'all know. Jovi. Adorable. Adorable. And I think about the Houston Texans. I think about a few things too. I have other hobbies, but this is the main. It's constantly on my mind. And I appreciate you listening to me yap about it, guys. And make sure you go to Underdog, code OTG. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get your picks in this weekend and really get in on the action. And other than that, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Lets us know that you like what we're doing. And other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.